What's up guys, it's your boy Martin, lead designer of Taviana The Origins, and I'd like to apologize for the slight delay in publishing videos lately. We've just been very busy redoing like 100 textures in Quixel, which by no coincidence is also what this video is about. So let's jump right into it. Quixel is basically a program that allows you to download textures from Megascans, which is a huge library. They have like 4,000 textures there, and I think some 3D scanned objects, and all of these textures are high quality photo scanned, high resolution, and Quixel allows you to kind of blend them together with relatively primitive tools to make them better suited for your application. And recently Megascans and Quixel was purchased by Epic Games, which are the developers of Unreal Engine 4, and since our game is also made in Unreal Engine 4, it would be stupid of us not to use those tools if we can. So this building right here is the pub, which I think we released in screenshots I think last year. And what we're going to redo in the pub is we're going to redo the floor today, the floor tiles, the walls in here, and also the roof. So what we need to do first is we need to export these textures so we see so we have like a reference of what we're trying to achieve. Oh, there's the wall. Let's export that. I've already created a folder called old on my desktop. That's where we're going to put the old textures. And now we need to find the tiles. Hold on, let me just search for them. Tiles floor 1. Export those, and let's search for the roof, which is right here. So now that we've exported our textures, we can go ahead and fire up Quixel Mixer, and while that loads, we're gonna redo roof ceramic. So let me just copy the name, gonna click new mix, and now we have a blank file in front of us. So what we can do is we can either go online and search for textures here. Let's see where they have roof right here. Select surface, because these are the 3D objects that I talked about. But we also have a local library of things that we downloaded before, and as you can see, I've downloaded all kinds of textures before. So let's just find where our roof tiles are. Maybe tile? Nope. Where did I save them? Tiles? Nope. What about roof? Nope. That's interesting. Let's try searching. Oh, there we go. These are the tiles that I like. So we click them, we place them into the file, and now we can change the threshold because they're kind of sunken into the plane. There we go. We can change the placement offset. So we want these horizontal lines to kind of line up with the edge of the texture. Kind of like that. And we can change the color a little bit because the roof tiles are usually orange, like so. And now if we go back to the local library, we can add some moss. Oops, gotta delete roof from the search box. And what kind of moss should we add? This looks pretty nice. So now we can change the threshold, and we should see moss starting to appear. And we can also change the blend from above. Let's give this a try. Nope, that doesn't look good. Let's leave it to below and change it to something like that. Well, actually, I don't like this mouse. Let's delete that and try the other one. Let's try this one. There we go, that looks a little bit better. And now we can save that. Yep. And now we can go export it. We're going to export it as 2K. All our textures are 2K now. We want to export the albedo. No, we don't want to export the albedo. We want to export the diffuse. Don't need a specular. roughness, we don't need that, and we need a normal, we don't need a displacement, and we don't need ambient occlusion. And I'm just gonna go ahead and create a new map. I'm gonna call that ARM, which basically allows us to put the roughness, the ambient occlusion, and the metallic, the metalness map into each of these channels. So instead of having 3 different textures, we only have one texture, which is gonna save a lot of space in memory and make the game perform better for you guys. So the red channel is gonna be our ambient occlusion, green is gonna be roughness, and blue is gonna be metalness. And let's just click export, open the folder, and let's have a look at what that looks like. Roof, ceramic, what is it, 01. Just copy that into a new Explorer window. And there we go. Looks pretty good. Let me open this in Photoshop and show you what I was talking about. So you see this texture is like yellow and green, but if we click channels we can see that the red channel has the ambient occlusion, this has the roughness, and this is the metallic channel. By the way, can we set this up so I'd like to set up a custom, what do you call it, a custom suffix on the end of each file name, but I don't think you can do that in this program. Well, we'll just have to change it by hand, I guess. Well, actually, let's copy these, or cut these files into our new folder. I'm gonna rename that N, and gonna rename that to D. Well, actually, we can rename that to base color to make sure that everything is exactly the same as our file naming convention. So let's go ahead and create a new mix. Go to our old textures, wall interior, no I do not. So we're gonna do the green wall now. Well, actually, let's do the floor tiles. Let's do the easier thing first. So floor tiles, yes, I'd like to save my changes. So we go to the local library again, and let's search for some nice tiles. Let's see what these tiles look like again. These kind of small cubes. This looks perfect. But these are a little bit too big, so we're gonna set the repetitions to 2. That looks much better. Now we can add some dust on top. So let's go to maybe, I don't know, sand. And maybe add some of this, beach sand. I don't know if that's gonna look good. Let's give it a try. No, that's not gonna look good. Let's try concrete. Or do we have dust? Nope, there's no dust. Oh, there's debris. Change that to surface so we don't get all these other sandy debris, construction rubble. Let's try sandy debris, that might look nice. And we'll change the blend from above. Change the threshold a little bit. And we'll put wrap to underlying to the maximum. Change the color a little bit to something a bit more brown. Something like that. That looks dusty, doesn't it? Change the opacity a little bit like that. And I think that looks pretty nice. So let's save that. Export that again. Don't need the albedo, don't need the specular, don't need the roughness, don't need displacement, don't need that. Create a new map. What did we say the first one was? Ambient occlusion, roughness, and metalness. Export. Save that just in case. And what was the third texture? The wall. So let's copy the file name. and go back to our library and look at some nice wall textures. So I think this would be a nice wall texture. Put the threshold up, repetitions to 1, and let's change the color to white. Well, maybe not that white, something like that. And I think we could blend it with maybe some smaller cracks like this. From above, put the repetitions to maybe 2 this time. Wrap to underlying. Wrap to underlying basically, well, you can't see much here, but basically it allows the height map from below to kind of go through the texture on top. So we'll set that to the maximum, change the opacity a little bit, make it a little whiter again. And I feel that this needs something else on top. Maybe this old painted wall. Change that to above again. Put the repetitions to 2. Wrap to underlying to the max. And change the opacity a little bit, change the color a little bit. And I think that looks pretty decent. So if you look at the original wall, we have this green part here, and we have these decals. Now you can do this in the program, in Quixel Mixer, excuse me. Add a solid layer, change the color to green, and then we can add a mask to it, and then we can go ahead and paint on the mask. Which doesn't seem to be working, why not? Hold on, let's go back. Add mask, add paint mask, there we go. Why is it not painting? Threshold, there we go, threshold. And you can change the opacity. Go back to the mask and you can paint your mask. But I prefer to do this in Photoshop. You can also add decals and stuff, but I prefer to do this in Photoshop because, I don't know, maybe I'm just too old school. So let's delete that. Export. Oh no, don't export. We want to change our settings here. Add a map again, ARM, ambient occlusion, roughness, and metalness. Export those 3 maps. Wall interior 2B. So let's copy that into our new folder in the desktop. And I'm gonna open this in Photoshop. I have a folder on my desktop called decals, where I've already downloaded some decals in advance, and I'm just gonna place them here in Photoshop. Just like that. Good. Whoops. Didn't want to. What's going on? Don't want that to be a smart object, and now we can position this in the bottom. Like so. Change that to multiply, change the opacity a little bit to something like that. Now I'm going to use the eraser tool to kind of blend this in nicely. And I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to select green color, and I'm going to use the paintbrush to paint the bottom half. Is it half? Yeah, I'm gonna paint the bottom half green. Like so. I'm gonna set that to multiply, change the opacity to something like that maybe. The trick is you don't want to make the colors too vibrant because it is a post-apocalyptic game. You want to make them kind of washed out, as if the sun has been shining on them for a long time. Now, let's put an offset filter, set that to 1024. And what this is going to allow us to do is make the texture nice and seamless. So I'm just going to use the eraser. Whoops, that's too big. And that's too small. Just going to erase a little bit of this to make the texture nice and seamless. And that's too big again. And that looks good enough to me. Apply the offset filter again, and now our texture is completely seamless. We can go ahead and save that. We can replace our original texture with that. That's taking a long time. Just gonna rename that to our file structure. And now, through the magic of video editing, I'm gonna show you what it looks like in game. So we're in game now. I've imported the textures that we just made, and this is what it looks like. This is the new wall that we made. These are the tiles that we made. I also made a, what do you call this in English? This wooden skirt. Wooden skirt, is that what you call it? A wooden skirt. I made this wooden skirt when we were off camera. And this is the wall inside the bathroom. And let's have a look at the roof. This is what the roof looks like. Looks pretty good to me. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. If you like what we're doing, consider supporting us on Patreon with as little as $1 a month. You can find that at www.patreon.com/TavianaTheOrigins. Don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, click the bell icon so you don't miss any notifications. Like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/TavianaTheOrigins, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.